Hey everyone, just thought I'd check in on how people are doing and give you an update. I wanted to recommend some Merton books, Thomas Merton books to read while people I know are indoors. And, I'm actually not quarantined because I've still had to work. My job falls under the umbrella of health care, and so I've still had to go to work. But they're talking about reducing hours and exposure, and I don't see a lot of people or anything, so literally my interaction with people has been the few people at work and then when I go grocery shopping, which has been insane. But I'll do some of that tomorrow. And it's actually been really depressing. I'm not saddened by having to be indoors, but it's just really, I guess, it's not even like the virus that scares me. It's more just how people are acting when they go grocery shopping. And I mean, of course I don't want to get sick, and I don't want anyone close to me to get sick. So this video is not just for those who are staying home, but if you're still working, I see all these posts of people who are like, oh, I'm so bored at home. Well, I have to still go to work, If I could stay home, I actually would prefer that and not be around this crap. I would love to just read, write, and watch films all day. So I don't know, we'll see. But this thing is going to get worse before it gets better. And I don't know. I've never seen anything like it. And I'm sure, everyone else who's watching this feels the same. But okay, so some Thomas Merton books that I would recommend. I have a lot. And the reason I started reading him was because I wanted to write some books that were religious themed, and it's not because I'm some holy roller, but really I was just, the way Bergman or Bresson has addressed religious themes, or Tchaikovsky, that's what interests me. So if you were interested in learning about Merton, here's a couple books I would recommend. I would recommend his autobiography, is The Seven-Story Mountain. This is the basic, giving you an intro to his life. And then, let's see, the two others, I would say, New Seeds of Contemplation are essays of his, and this is what he's known for. And when I wrote my clip from The Vanishing Spider, my novel I wrote in 2017, I have a clip that references this essay. And I'm going to have a clip to that prose excerpt, and I'm going to have a clip to the poem I wrote on Thomas Merton. Also, these are A Year with Thomas Merton, daily meditations from his journal. So every day of the year, he has a little meditation, and every single thing is sort of, he has these insights, and it's very relaxing and very Zen-like. This can maybe pull you through what's going on. Also, he does, let's see, The Way of Cheng Tzu. These are working from existing translations. Father Merton has composed a series of personal versions from his favorites among classic sayings. So these aren't really poems so much. These are kind of like fables, and I really enjoyed that. And I use this especially in the last novel I finished, Still Amid the Lotus. I use kind of some of this technique. And then others I have, let's see, The Sign of Jonas. This is getting a little heavy-handed, but I really enjoyed this. This is philosophical. No Man is an Island is a reference I make in that same essay that I'm going to link. These are a book of essays. And a lot of times, sometimes his essays, especially in one of his books, oh, is it The Wisdom of the Desert? Sometimes they resemble little psalms, you know, and I don't find you have to be religious to appreciate it. They're sort of meditative, and it's interesting because Merton and Isley are sort of like, I think, the yin and yang to each other, because Lauren Isley has an essay. He says, every man is an island, and now here Merton says no man is an island. So I thought it was kind of interesting, that contrast. Then I have some of his other books. If you see that picture I have on my cover, still picture, these are some, you're going to see all the books. I have a lot of books because I was reading a lot from him. I have his letters, The Waters of Silence. This is not particularly good. It's interesting when you read his journals, he talks endlessly about how he thinks his book kind of sucks. I wouldn't say it's like a bad book, but it's kind of dry, so I don't recommend this. You know, The Intimate Merton is sort of highlights from his journals, and then if you want to get about his Asian trips, here's, you got this journals. He wrote a lot of books. I will say his poetry is something you can skip. And what's interesting when you read his journals, he sort of knew he was not so good a poet. And it's not like he's a terrible poet. He's just he's more of a prose writer, you know. It's sort of like Lauren Isley is not a good poet either. You know, just kind of like, you know, and he knew it. Like, he would always talk about Robert Lowell and how he knew Robert Lowell was a better poet. And so, you know, it's interesting. So I have these books organized on one of my shelves where I have religious material. And like I said, someone might be like, are you a really holy roller? And the answer is no. I mean, I look to all aspects of life and humanity for where I can get ideas. And if I can get ideas through anything, even religion, I'm going to do it. Like, when I read Merton, I don't sit there and think, when he talks about God, it doesn't have to be the Christian God. It can be sort of whatever you feel that is, your insight or inner peace. And you'll hear when I have those links that I'm going to put, when from The Vanishing Spider, is told from the point of view of a Catholic nun, and she's actually a character that is sort of idolizes Merton in a sense, and kind of envious of him, that'll give some insight more into what I'm trying to say here. But it's funny because ever since I was very young, I'd always been interested in sort of doing kind of religious themed work, and I have this book I bought, I don't even know when, like 1999. It's on Martin Luther or whatever, and it's like a Cliff's Notes or something, a précis of, I don't know, condensed version of Martin Luther, and it's kind of boring, but I had this idea, and I'm not Lutheran or anything, but I was like, even back then, I was like, oh, that'd be interesting to write something kind of intellectually religious in themes, because I think religious themes can offer a lot of intellectual or existential ideas, and you see that a lot with Bergman and Bresson and Tarkovsky and Dreyer and their films. So right now, actually, I'm working on a book about a saint, and I'm going to do some writing later on more about it, and it's going to be a novella, but it's more poetic, so it takes longer with the style of writing I'm doing, not to mention all the crap that's going on. It's interesting because it's making me focus more on that kind of isolation and things like that with what is going on in the world today. So if you would like to know who I'm writing about, you can visit my Facebook page, and I have excerpts, and you can see it and figure it out. But other than that, I'm still okay. I'm, not sick or anything. I'm just tired. I'm still working my job, and I look forward to them reducing hours, because it is tiring and stressful, and this virus is not something I want to get, And certainly everyone should be taking it seriously, but I don't think you should be freaking out. I think if you're just careful, you know, the majority of people who do get it, they say it's, you know, you're not, it's just a, you know, you're not going to die from it, but it's going to be unpleasant, but you can push through it. And it's just terrible right now what's happening with the lack of supplies and people hoarding at grocery stores. And I've seen just so much selfishness, and you don't need to hoard everything, you know, and people can't find toilet paper, and this is just crazy shit. I mean, I don't know, but that's about it. I mean, I haven't had any ideas for Enneagram. I mean, I you know, it's interesting because I've heard that type 6s, I've wanted to know how type 6s feel about this, because I've heard that when a crisis actually happens, that a type 6 is actually very calm and knows what to do because they've worried to death. And then when it happens, they're not worried. They can implement a strategy. So I've actually, you know, I don't know. I look kind of tired. The reason I look tired, I don't have makeup on, and you know what? It's one of those things, you know? I'm like, screw the 3-wing right now. I'm not interested in the image. I'm tired, and there's a pandemic going on, and I feel like putting on makeup and dressing up is fake and it's trivial. And I'm just trying tomorrow, you know, I plan to do my exercise. I've been doing workouts indoors. I mean, I actually don't ever go to a gym, so for me the workouts haven't changed. But if you want to flip through my videos, I do a couple reviews of this program called HasFit, and it's a YouTube program. A husband and wife run these videos on their channel. I give like 2 videos on it, reviews. I highly recommend it if you're stuck inside and you want exercise. And that's what, you know, I was using that before this happened, so nothing's really changed there. But tomorrow, other than exercising, and then I'll go rush to the grocery store, and it's like now if I see a bell pepper or an onion, I'm like, oh my God, produce! You know, it's insane. And then I'm gonna cook some lunch. It won't be anything spectacular, but I'm gonna cook some lunch, and I'm gonna listen to a Spotify channel and my Ella Fitzgerald channel, and it's these simple things that kind of focus me. And then I'll work on some on my book and think, you know, I'm just trying to do that. So sorry if I rambled a bit. Those are some books. So you want some reflective new seeds of contemplation, but here's his autobiography. And what were the other ones? I don't remember. You'd have to go look. Oh, this one, oh, A Year with Merton. These are meditative, but I would recommend, you know, these 2 to start. Also, if you would like to read any of my books, just message me and I can send them to you. I know people have downtime, and I would like if people would read, and I'm welcome, you know, I'm willing to send, and I welcome that. So I can't think of anything else. I hope everyone's doing okay, and boy, I'll be in touch when things change. Things are just happening really fast right now, so I just wonder when it's a matter of time before we're all on lockdown. They did a really good job of containing this, don't you think? I mean, I'm going to tell you that this whole thing is going to make so many documentaries and films. They're going to like uncover how the fuck did this get out of control, because a month ago we were being told it's no big deal. There's only like 5 cases here or whatever. And now, holy shit. So, yeah, you can't do anything. But that's life. And just be grateful for what you have. You know, you find good potatoes, buy them and cook them up and be happy you have that. So I'll be in touch, and I hope everyone is doing well. And if you're still working, I feel your pain. I'm there with you. So be safe. Thanks.